Dammit, Moffat.
A Doctor Who review of Doctor Who Series 7, Part 2, Episode 5, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
And this was a very, very good episode. Very, very big fan.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, so this episode starts off with, like, you know, the sort of general, oh, look, we're in the TARDIS, things are happening.
Yeah. And the Doctor's, you know, talking about Clara and the TARDIS not really getting along, which is interesting.
Well, like, they've been hitting at that for the past few episodes, and I assume it's
there's
going to be
more. I hope so,
Yeah.
because this was just kind of like a hint.
And so I loved Eleven's outfit.
Eleven was really dapper this episode.
I loved Clara's outfit. She looked mega adorable.
So cute. I brought all her clothes. They're so cool.
You could rock it. So Clara's adorable. Eleven's outfit. So then we have the bros in space.
Yeah, I was like,
Space
this
Bros.
looks like a Jawa ship, and then I totally was right because it was a scavenger ship. And I was like, yes.
And then right from the point where the android like touched the TARDIS, like, it's alive. And was it not you who were like, can I ship the?
Can I ship the android and the TARDIS?
Yeah, pretty much.
But no. I mean,
So there was this whole thing about the Doctor's like, you only have an hour. You only have 30 minutes. And at first I'm like, really?
I was like, that's...
Couldn't you just fake it? And then, I mean, he did. But
yeah, it was good to know that the Doctor's faking it, because I was kind of concerned. I was like, Doctor, this is the TARDIS we're talking about. Like, it's not just like, self-destruct, whatever.
yeah, I'm like, they could have come up with a better reason, but it worked out. Although, and we're just going to go through some random scenes or whatever the episode.
Yeah.
I really liked when the one scavenger guy or whatever was like in the room with all like the floaty hangy ball things. And it was real
So
intense.
Cool. It was intense. And then the android dude was all like, no, don't do it. The TARDIS doesn't like that. And I was like, yeah, you go. Android dude who's not actually
He's not
an android.
He's not actually an android. It was
like the auto-tune, man. It fools you every time.
every single time. So the Doctor is a little crazy, and then so we see, like, you know, Claire's lost in the TARDIS, and we get to see all these random rooms. We also get to see the TARDIS swimming pool.
Oh, and the library. Oh, that library.
That library.
With the history of the Time War.
I'm not gonna lie, every single time they mention the Time War or anything like that, I'm like, are we gonna see Paul McGann? Are we gonna see Paul McGann? Like, I remember writing a letter through Facebook to Doctor Who magazine to say, dear Doctor Who people, if you read this, you should do a TV movie about the Time War with Paul McGann. Because I really like Paul McGann.
Everybody does. Everybody who knows who he is likes him.
As long as he doesn't have that wig, because he hates that wig.
That was unfortunate.
It's a rather unfortunate wig.
Oh my gosh, and then because the whole idea of this episode was that the memories and the time, like, leaking across, and you heard, like, the whispers, and we're, like, freaking out, because, like, did we just hear Christopher Eccleston?
And there was Susan, and I'm sure there's already probably some fan who's identified every single clip.
Yeah, we were trying to listen to it, but it was kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm sure some fan is in, like, every single episode who said it, when they said it.
Great. I was like, because my goal for this episode was like, episode, make me cry. It didn't quite make me cry, but it was still really good.
Well, I love that I quoted the Genghis Khan quote from Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
And then that's the one that they used because they were trying to, like, cut open the TARDIS or whatever. I'm like, good on ya. Good on you guys.
Poor TARDIS. TARDIS went through a lot this episode.
The TARDIS is not suffering any fools. And it's getting a little angry.
I don't blame her. Like, jeez.
That's gonna be something. That's gonna be a big deal. I can see that happening right now.
And the whole idea with, like, these monsters, like, Clara essentially is running from herself this entire episode, which was kind of interesting symbolically and stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole idea, it was one of those cyclical episodes where it's like, oh crap, we messed things up, let's revert back to last save. And
well, it's really great that also
really cool.
Once again, this is an episode that's very, like, cost-saving in that they pretty much built, like, 2-3 hallways, and then they just relit them and reshot them from a bunch of different angles.
Like, things like, you know, the Eye of Harmony we got to see, that was pretty cool.
It looks a lot better than it used to in the 8th Doctor movie, where it was just, like, a thing in the ground.
My brother will freak out.
It's like this thing opens, and it's like, oh, look, it's a thing in the ground. Now it's a fucking sun.
Yeah, I was like, that's gotta hurt, being in that room. Like, they were like, hey, we can only stay here for, like, 30 seconds or something. And then...
Well, like, I love how they were like, yes, if you're in here for longer than, like, 2 minutes, you will liquefy. I'm like, I guess that doesn't work if you're a main character.
It's typical in, like, movies and things, too. That kind of like, well,
you can only survive on Earth for 3 minutes, and your color time will tell you no. Ultraman reference. So, just with this episode, there's just craziness.
Yeah, there was just a lot of different kind of things going on. The different rooms, and I felt like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that, like, when the Doctor, like, confronts Claire, he's like, you know who you are. And she's like, no, I don't.
No. It was like, Doctor, you're acting a little crazy.
It's
right
like
now.
you're scaring me right now.
Yeah, I don't blame Clara for being like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
But she's on board. She's like, I mean, I signed up for everything. Like, she just wants to have an adventure, which is kind of cool. I feel like we got to see a little more of Clara. We didn't get that much more into her character, but we got more into it. It's like, I still want to see more. I don't know, how many episodes do we have until?
Well, I think there's 3 more, because I think there's 8.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's not that many, but I think they could do it in the
Well,
time.
but I like that the last few especially have been very, like, standalone, which I like a
And I
lot.
feel like they're hinting things like, again, they had the Doctor's name, but they didn't do an obnoxious Doctor Who joke.
Because she was like,
Appreciated.
because she's like, I looked through the Time War book and your name is in there, and she's like,
But
no, that's why, because she was like,
she forgot it because the Doctor reset time.
because she's just like, oh, that's what it is. So
When they talk about forgetting things on this show, I just get really sad because Donna. But that's another issue.
That's a whole other issue. Also, I love when all like the Dubros come into the TARDIS, like, usually like bigger on the inside. Then the guy's like, whoa, awesome. like
That's going in the quotes. It's like, of all the quotes in the world, that's the best one.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was
Nothing
cool.
short of fantastic. So
So
there was just this episode. I mean, some people are probably gonna complain like, oh, well, none of it like really happened. I'm like, well,
it's very typical kind of Doctor Who.
a lot of the times, like in episodes of Doctor Who, like it'll happen, but like then they'll never really mention it again. So it's really not.
I mean, the whole day, the year that never was
Yes.
with Martha.
So
Poor
that's
Martha.
it-
She'd actually remember that.
Well, the thing is with this is that like the TARDIS remembers, I would assume, and like and it's probably there's something bigger going on.
There's definitely. This was one of those episodes that is hinting at a lot of things, and I'll be curious to look back on it as the season progresses and see what.
But I enjoyed it as an episode.
Yeah, they had some nice references. I would have liked more references to like past Doctors, but it was cool to see
But
the
there's-
paper mache TARDIS and like.
Oh, that little.
remnants from like Amy and Roy. I was like, make me cry, come on.
Well, what does that have to do with Amy and Roy?
Well, that was the little thing that like Amy made, like
Right.
waiting for the Doctor. Mel's kind of tossed it up in the air.
And then there was the crib. The
the
thing.
crib.
Well, like the thing was for me is that this was just a good episode in of itself.
Yeah, it was a good standalone.
Like I'm like I enjoy this episode and I'm having a good time with it. Like, and once again you can do a really great episode with not a super awesome budget if you write it correctly. Who wrote this one? It was
Steve Thompson.
Steve
He
Thompson.
was. I think he's the one who wrote. Gosh, no, I know the name of it. I always
Which
mess
one?
up the name. The one.
Which one?
Praise him. That one, whatever the name of that episode
Whatever
is.
that is.
I
They'll
know
know.
it. I know it.
They'll have-
And everyone comes will say it, and I'll feel really bad about myself because I know it. But
And then they'll be like, or maybe you're not right. But thank you.
Is it the Lodger?
Maybe. I don't know.
I always mix up that episode and another one, but whatever.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever. I think it's the same guy. I think so. But he's a good writer. I've enjoyed, and even if it's not the same guy, good job. You did a nice job.
Yes, exactly.
It was a nice episode.
I would
Eddie?
give this. Wait, do you have any other thoughts?
No, we'll rate it first.
I will give it a pretty solid. I'll give it like a 4 out of 5. Maybe like a 4.5.
Maybe I mean it wasn't like my favorite episode with the season, but it was really enjoyable. Like it was a really good season. So yeah, I'd agree with the 4.
I'm excited next week for the return of.
Vash,
I'm
Madame Vastra and Jenny and Strax. Those are the
okay.
names.
You remember their names because I just refer them as Santarin, lesbian lizard lady, and her wife.
Yep.
So that's pretty
No,
much.
right. You see, they're having a knack of returning to Victorian
Well, that's where they are. That's where they hang out.
all the time. Even though it'll be interesting bringing Clara back there. I'm like, hey.
Oh, that's where they're probably gonna do something with
of
that.
course. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I
down.
want lesbian lizard lady, her wife, and what's his name?
Strax.
I want them to be the companions. Like
I
I want
know.
all of them. Like I don't want like Clara is cool, but she can go do her own thing. I want them to be the companion trio.
They could have their own spin-off show.
They could have.
Trio.
Okay, we don't need no Torchwood. We don't need no Sarah Jane Adventures. We just need lesbian lizard lady, her wife, and Strax. And that is that would be a fantastic show, and I would watch the hell out of that show.
I know. You
Although
talk about it all the time.
her as them as the companion, well, it would be great because of course the Doctor's not gonna have any sexual tension with like a Santarin because ew icky, and of course then you can't have sexual tension with lesbians. Yay! Well, they could.
You say that.
That's right. That's right. Okay, but it's Doctor Who, and also Torchwood would do something like that.
I mean, throw Captain Jack in there and all bets are off.
There was actually a really interesting thing that John Barrowman had an interview recently where people were like, "Are you involved with the 50th?" He's like, "Well, I'm not going to be like on TV about it, but maybe like I'll do something related to it." It's like it's very vague, but like he had said like he's going to be involved in some way, but maybe like not specifically on TV. So,
I don't know how that would work, but I'd really like to see him back on the show a lot.
Although to be fair, like some people are like, "Oh my God, Captain Jack's so important."
But we don't want to be like a show of all the past companions and stuff. It needs to be about the present ones. As much as I would like that personally,
Well, the
we
thing
have to
is,
keep driving forward with the show.
The thing is like people are like, "Oh my God, Captain Jack's so important." I'm like, well, in the grand scheme of Doctor Who, he's not like the most important.
No, definitely not.
Like if they're already getting back David Tennant and Billie Piper, I don't think they don't need another one. As much as I love Captain Jack, I really do. Like
I'd still like to see them bring him back at some point. And the brilliant part of his character is you can really bring him back.
Well, the problem is that he's supposed to be immortal, and John Barrowman is getting a little older.
Not that much older.
He's
timeless.
He has some kind of access to a fountain of youth. He's like almost 50, if not over.
I think I knew that. It's
I
still
think
weird.
so. I think he is.
Yeah.
I mean, the last season of Torchwood was kind of awful, but
Yeah, that's what I heard.
it was well bad. Well bad. So I think we're just going off on tangents, so I think now's the time to end it.
Yeah, now's the time to end it. Thank you for watching, and
Indeed.
let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode. Is it one of your favorites, one of your least favorites? You looking forward to anything?
Yes.
So.
All right. So until next week,
Yeah.
fans, Allons-y.
Owlsy.